Okay, and welcome to Wrestling. And it feels like it's been forever, but it's only been a couple weeks. A little bit.
Not too bad. About the usual pace we go.
That's true. It is true. It's just a lot's happened, I guess. But today,
yes, on
Wrestling and we are talking about Wrestling and 1997. Well, I mean, the beginning of 1997.
Yes.
What were you saying?
This
January?
will be a series, yeah.
This will be a series, and we're going to start covering the beginning. So I have my notes written here. It says, for some reason, Justin chose this year as he wants to talk about it. I mean, wrestling was popular in America at the time. A lot of shit went on. Why don't you tell us, Justin? Why?
I just think that, especially people in our age range, 1997 is just kind of one of the most popular years in wrestling in terms of content. Not necessarily the most popular, because it's just, 1997 is when everything started to really get going, especially with WWF. But a lot of people in our age range, in that 30s, 40s, are very fond of 1997, and especially when you see what was happening. You had guys like Shawn Michaels, Stone Cold Steve Austin, Bret Hart, arguably doing some of the best stuff of their career, all taking place
the Undertaker
this year.
Growing his kind of legacy.
Yeah,
you had Triple H as a very beginning kind of idea.
Well,
you had
Generation X was formed. You had The Rock just getting started on a heel run.
You had Chris Jericho switching to WCW. You had Chris Jericho doing New Japan. You had a lot of other stuff, but with WWE, you had all the puzzle pieces kind of starting to go on the board, if you know what I mean.
Exactly, and of course, I wasn't really watching a lot of WCW at the time, but that's when you had probably the peak of the NWO going on. So it was a very eventful year in wrestling. I think in Japan, I wasn't obviously following it back then. I didn't really.
Well, and that's why I take notes, man, because I got news there too.
Yeah, you had guys like Misawa having big years, and FMW was probably at its peak as well. Worldwide landscape of wrestling was probably another 1.5 to 2 years off of its peak popularity of all time.
Yeah.
But what's great about 97 is you really see a lot of the beginnings of what carried the industry through its most popular years.
Definitely a lot of stuff changed. It was the first, probably, if you look at 97, it was maybe one of the first years. And now ECW, which was going on in 97 too, we'll talk about them.
Absolutely.
But ECW also, groups like that. I think this was one of the first times maybe in American wrestling where kind of the status quo was kind of totally changed, and that the idea that the fans started recognizing like what a baby face is, what a heel is, and started kind of changing the mold of those stereotypes or archetypes in wrestling. You started to see the emergence of the more bad boy kind of baby face, which I'm sure it was a thing before that, but like everyone in WWF and some of the other groups, they were badasses, almost bad guys, but cool.
Yeah, this was the forming where basically the generation changed, and the people in this age range, you started rooting for the bad guy a little bit more, and people got sick of that kind of typical goody two-shoes babyface.
I remember.
This was an era that was totally reflective of, easy for me to say, reflective of that. And as you'll see in the characters that came out of this year, it was really a reflection of society at the time, if you will.
Yeah, for sure, a reflection of society. A little bit of an anti-PG kind of, or
anti-establishment.
Anti-PC was the word. Political correctness, definitely.
Absolutely.
Definitely a counter kind of movement. And that's obviously not just with wrestling. I mean, kind of like a heavier rock style, what I call Kilo Rock, because that's our station in town. I was at K-Rock in LA. What's your guys' like heavy rock? Like they play Lamb of God and fucking Creed.
Honestly, we probably don't have one. I don't think anymore.
He's like,
we used to have K-Rock, but that was like the alternative. But they've even sold out and they're just doing a bunch of crap now. But I don't know.
But I mean, even that 1997, like the culture, like you had Marilyn Manson, and
we had Pirate Radio, we had KLAC, we had 95.5 KLOS.
Wow, I didn't know about all that. Well, it sounds like maybe your guys' radio is a little different than ours.
Yeah, I don't listen to radio in years.
So. No, I mean I haven't listened. Sometimes I'll tune into Japanese stations, but they're just as bad. Like not as bad, but just like
it's all well. Anyway, I don't want to venture too far into this, but it's all a formulaic.
I think people like hearing us talk about radio. But yes, it's
a very live media in the world, of course.
Which is funny because we're doing something not too different from them. But
we're the evolution of radio, really. So
yeah, but however, 1997, as we talking about all those type of changes in the industry and media and in people in general socially in America, Europe. 97. So the first show of 1997, do you know what it is? Because once I tell you, you'll be like, oh, yeah, that makes sense, I guess.
I mean, I was thinking the Royal Rumble.
Yeah. No, it's the January 4th Tokyo Dome show. Always January 4th, right?
I didn't know they were doing that for that long.
They were, yeah. But it's kind of funny.
It just wasn't always called Wrestle Kingdom.
It wasn't always called Wrestle Kingdom. It had like a stupid name back in the day, which really isn't that different from Wrestle Kingdom. It's like
Super Fantastic Happy Wrestling Hour or
Wrestling
like
World.
Okay, that's fine.
I mean, whatever. It's just. So they did 62,000 people on January 4th at the Tokyo Dome, dude.
64,000
or 62,000. Sorry, 62,000. So that's pretty much a sellout.
Yeah, and that was way more than WWE WWF. We're going to call it that for this specific. Was doing. I mean, WrestleMania 13 was in the Rosemont Horizon Center, which 15,000 tops.
Yeah, although WrestleMania is changing, and I'm sure they have or have. But back then, no. I think the whole dome idea or the whole like huge stadium idea. It was only done rarely. You did it in with like World Class Championship Wrestling for their death show. Anyways.
But they never filled it or came close to. I mean, even Jim Crockett and stuff would do.
How about the Pontiac Dome though? The Pontiac Dome, didn't they?
They would do the Silver Dome.
Yeah,
where in Detroit.
Yeah.
They did WrestleMania 3 there, isn't that right?
So that might have been one of their like things where they actually pulled that number in, but not in 97, that's for sure.
No, not 97.
Whole era, different era we're talking about. Yeah, so that's a Hulk Hogan era, but we're talking so in 97, they pulled in 62,000 people as a $5 million gate back then, which you had for inflation. That's a little nice chunk of change there. Imagining the wrestlers got paid well in merch fees. Here's some notable matches from Wrestling World 97. Are you ready?
Yeah, go for it.
All right, we got Super Liger, a.k.a. Chris Jericho, beating Koji Kanemoto. Do you know about this match?
No.
Why it's so legendary? Okay.
No.
This was Chris Jericho as the new Liger. He's blonde hair, blue eyes, full mask, full gimmick. You get what I'm saying? But he's evil, right? And he went backstage after the match, and you had people telling him like, "Yeah, man, you're not going to make it in this business."
Really?
I think Inoki told him, just shook his head and walked off. No one talked to him afterwards. So
was it bad?
Very bad match. Yeah, just a terrible match. He's talked about it on his podcast. I really think you guys should go listen to it. But he's saying Koji Kanemoto, different styles. Koji Kanemoto more of like a brawler / call it in the ring, and just Chris Jericho not really knowing what to do, being a little confused, and
right.
Yeah, I remember he said that one of the leaders in New Japan said to him like, "Hey, Chris Jericho, good. Super Liger, bad." So he never wrestled again in Super Liger, first and last. It was that bad. Inoki beat Willie Williams in a martial arts match.
All right.
Nothing to say about that. You're not a big Willie Williams stan.
Wasn't he the police chief of Philadelphia or something like that?
Yeah, probably. Liger defeated Ultimo Dragon to win the J Crown Championship. Haven't seen it. Sounds like an awesome match, right?
I would say those both guys that they're
in 97.
Right? Yeah.
Ooh. That would
fun.
be the main event for me, but
Sure.
Shinya Hashimoto beat Riki Choshu, so we got like kind of a Hashimoto as a guy who's been in the biz a little bit versus the old school Choshu who might have been booking at this time. So yeah, not too crazy of a show, but Wrestling World 97, and after that we had the Royal Rumble. Okay,
Yes.
what do you think about Royal Rumble 97 January?
Very exciting show, I think, and that's where you had Stone Cold win the first of his, I want to say, 3 Royal Rumbles, right? And
Think so.
He was coming off in 1996 where he won King of the Ring, and he was, arguably the top heel, but the fans were starting to get behind him, especially after that King of the Ring, and even a little bit before that, and this is where, if this would have happened these days, he would have been the champion. It's hard to believe with how big he was growing and stuff in 97, that it still took another year for him to get the title.
Yeah, it is a little weird looking back. Although, I mean, just a lot of favors done for some other guys in that company in 97, I guess.
Well, I mean, you had Brett and Shawn still going at it, kind of handing the title back and forth to each other a little bit around that 96 to 97 era, 95 to 96, 97 era. And it's just funny how much things had changed from 96 to 97. 96, your main event of WrestleMania, I believe, which was over here in Anaheim, was the Brett and Shawn.
Were you there for that one? Sorry if you mentioned it.
I was not there. No, I never been to a WrestleMania, unfortunately. Brett and Shawn, in the Iron Man match, right? And then the next year, you have Stone Cold just kind of, taking over.
Steamrolled. The Stone Cold Steamroll.
Yeah. So Stone Cold became a prevalent guy, and that's
actually some good booking from WWF back in the day.
And arguably the greatest match in WrestleMania history took place this year, which at some point we'll, I'm sure, talk at length about. But
you really think that Brock versus Roman this year was the best match of all time? Because I agree. And you said this year. This year.
Well, this year as in 1997, WrestleMania 1997.
Well, then I disagree then. Yeah, I agree. Okay, moving on.
Yeah. So January, Royal Rumble, Stone Cold wins.
Can I
in a somewhat
funny?
controversial finish, right?
How did the finish go? Explain it to the audience.
I believe Stone Cold was he was I can't remember if he was eliminated and they didn't see it, or he did something dastardly.
Oh, so he did his heel shit.
He did a heel thing and he won, and that result didn't automatically get him the shot at WrestleMania. They actually
That's bullshit.
They had a filler pay-per-view like they usually have now, which is called like Roadblock, Detour, whatever it's called. These days.
Backlash is Backlash nowadays.
No, I think Backlash is the one after WrestleMania, but they always have Roadblock or whatever, Crossing Guard, whatever it was called. They had something called Final Four where they had a four-way.
Yeah, well, and we're going to talk about that next.
Yeah.
So I got the Final Four. Yep, for sure.
They actually had, which I guess you could compare it to what Elimination Chamber is in a way.
I guess so. Yeah,
but they had a four-way title. But it's just interesting to see if they had somebody that hot. Now, that dude's getting the title. It's not going to take a year. I'll put it that way.
Yeah, well, it will in WWE. I mean, Ricochet's just getting the title. This is the same company as back then, dude.
You're comparing Ricochet to Stone Cold Steve Austin, which I love Ricochet. But
I guess you're kind of right.
People weren't running around in Ricochet 316 shirts right now. That's not happening.
Well,
Stone Cold was
maybe
literally
that's a
taking
once in a lifetime type of thing. And you're right. If you get a dude like that, yes, you do want to.
And they slow played him beautifully, to be honest with you. But we'll kind of cover that as we go through the year. But this is going to be a multi-part series that we're going to probably spread out. over the next
months.
And
that's why we're moving on. We're still in January, and we will be for a while. We're not taking our time we're not going to fast forward through this one. We're just going to sit and talk about all the nuances and all the shit, and that's what's fun about this one. We'll be talking about characters we don't know, guys we're just remembering, and we would love to get feedback for all of that because, again, it's a very interesting year when you look at all the companies. So soon after at least the Royal Rumble, which was on the 19th of January, on the 25th we had a WCW NWO co-branded show called Sold Out. And actually, now that I look at the actual poster, it's an NWO show, really. It's just an NWO show.
What I remember about these is they weren't very good shows. This is the thing that always kind of... I know I'm wearing my little Scott Hall shirt right now that I got.
But, shout out, right? We're not talking about Scott Hall. We're talking about Eric Bischoff and how they planned and the money that went in. And...
I know it was like... I just never could understand it. When I was watching 96, 98, I would still watch a little WCW because there was things that we liked about WCW. But I could never understand why it was getting so much better ratings than WWF, because WWF stuff was just so much better top to bottom.
It's probably that momentum, though. The WWF, like, for years before that, even though I still think the shit was better, but I watched it when I was a kid. I don't know, like, a bad press takes momentum, and it takes time to slowly creep back.
Yeah, and we don't really have anything to compare this to right now, but... it just took a little while. Even when they had Stone Cold run around doing all his stuff, WCW was still beating them. The 83 weeks, right? That's the whole shtick.
Yeah.
So that they beat him in the ratings that long.
But at the same time, we both know we're wrestling fans. We know that good matches or interesting characters, that doesn't make ratings. It is whatever's hot.
No, it doesn't. Yeah.
And really, you can't necessarily like. There are things we can do to make that or fix that, but it is very random, like very hard to pick.
I mean, obviously, with the stuff from this era, you got some great matches out of it, don't get me wrong. But, match quality wasn't a priority at this time. Didn't make it any... I mean, it was still really good stuff if you pick and choose, especially 97. Match quality wasn't exactly a priority. It was storylines and all that stuff. I mean, this is when NWO was, at its peak probably, or just about to hit its peak. So that's what was kind of carrying the ratings. They had Hogan that became bad guy. And I know a lot of people that, like, they were going around the channels at that time like, oh my God, Hogan is a bad guy now? What the hell is this?
That was kind of cool.
That was definitely a curveball that would catch the eyes of the average quote-unquote casual fan.
Yeah, I think there was a lot of...
Scott Hall and Razor Ramon and Diesel are on it? What the hell is going on? You know what I mean?
I think there's a lot of mainstream appeal with WWE for the time, just because it was like... You got to think they're going to Sturgis. It's like a cool biker thing. To me, WWE reminds me of like Middle America type shit, where WWF is like very produced.
Well, WCW was Middle America.
Or excuse me, WCW. Yeah. God, what am I thinking? Yeah. Yes, exactly. It's like, all right, Sturgis. They're doing something in a pool now. It's like I can relate to this. Where WWF at the time was very played up and ridiculous characters, and I don't know. I'm trying to be devil's advocate.
I know what you're saying is that it seemed that WCW was being a little more down to earth in its presentation, and maybe a little more like accessible, while WWE seemed like it was
out of this world shit. You had a dead dude, a fucking sumo wrestler.
Yeah, it was a little more real at the time, and I think that's maybe you're right. That's what part of what WCW had over them
for a time. I mean, it was 83 weeks. Okay, so not even 2 years. It was a situational thing, but it's momentum. I mean, if WCW starts fucking up at the time, obviously their ratings are going to go down slowly. Not like unless a disaster happened, but.
WCW had the more real life presentation, and rather than WWE
with the
was
Nitro
girls,
with the Nitro girls and the fucking it was very sports like though, right? Like they had the dancers and you didn't have the dude dressed up as a woman coming out and then his girlfriend had a thong.
Say what you want about Eric Bischoff, but he did say, okay, there's WWF. What can we do to be different? And it worked for a while, and they you know, whether you thought it was good or not, like, they definitely were different, and they found a niche for that time.
Well, I'll tell you this. I think their sold-out pay-per-view in '97 sounds bad on paper. I'll read
It was
some
awful.
of the stuff
Yeah,
to
but
you.
that's the thing I think caught up to WCW, too, is that they were not putting together entertaining shows when it came down to it. Like, they had Sting sit in the rafters for a whole year and a half, and when the match came, it didn't deliver. And what's amazing about the Crow Sting is that someone was telling me, Crow Sting was the best thing. I mean, Crow Sting sat in the rafters for 2 years. We barely saw him. He never talked.
Hey, he wrestles now, and he's been whooping ass all over the fucking...
Yeah, he's doing great, absolutely. But
do you see that his shit on Rampage again? Like, dude,
yeah,
just delivered again. Like, why?
Yeah.
How?
But the thing is, I kind of admire it, and I think it's crazy at the same time. Is they got so much out of Sting with not a lot of, in that era when with the he barely came on screen. He barely did anything for like 2 years.
Yeah.
So. It's crazy.
It's crazy. So we're back to WCW in the month of January, right?
Oh, and what I was going to say, what I remember about those sold out pay-per-views is they were like, they would have like, Bischoff doing the commentary with somebody like some other heel person. Might have been, not even Bobby the Brain Heenan, but anyway, they'd be like sitting on cargo boxes on the side of the ring.
That's why they're so lame, bro, because it's like, you literally made, and of course Meltzer's said this since back then, and so has Alvarez, and I'm just repeating them, but like, you literally made your promotion seem like a piece of shit promotion. Like, you literally turned your own promotion into the bad guys, pretty much, that don't make cool shows. And if you're NWO, you're cool, bro. But I don't know why. Anyways. So we had Chris
they made their baby faces just uncool losers.
Very uncool. One of their baby faces, who was still cool, was Chris Jericho at this time, who seems to have did he go back to WCW, or was he wrestling for them and New Japan?
I don't know for sure at the time, but I think probably both. But
well, he had a failure in New Japan earlier in the month, and then he went back to USA. Probably.
Well, I think there at the time with WCW, there was kind of a working relationship.
It was a little
with
bit,
New Japan.
yeah. There was for sure.
There was definitely a lot of shared talent at that time, and you did even have that NWO Japan.
Yep, and that's why Masahiro Chono was on the show, because he's NWO Japan.
Right. And
he went against Chris Jericho. He beat Chris Jericho. 11-minute match, which is good time for this show. That was one of the longer matches on the show, actually. So shout-outs on giving them the hot opener. Yeah, I haven't seen it. If it's terrible,
yeah. If you're a recent fan of wrestling, or you've jumped on you're a match quality guy, you're gonna go back and watch this stuff from '97. And listen, there is some good stuff.
Yeah,
but
it's bad.
I'm not gonna say it's gonna suck, but it's going to be a different.
Well, you have to get into the storyline a lot more for a lot of these matches, because it's not about the moves. But that's not that hard. Some of these dudes are so good. Obviously, you watch Ric Flair and stuff, like, you don't even mind the moves.
Right.
The moves don't even matter one bit. So,
but Ric Flair's finest matches, I don't think anyone's finest matches outside of maybe Stone Cold, Bret Hart, guys like that. Those were good quality matches going on and stuff, that. But not everyone was out there. There wasn't a lot of good, like, oh my god, this match. I thought in 1997.
You had your Shawn Michaels and your, like you said, Bret Hart and stuff like that. But yeah, don't expect, especially anything under the main event. Generally, it's just not.
Right. I mean, you did have some different world. Some great undercard stuff at WCW, like some Eddie Guerrero.
But none of that on Sold Out. That's for sure. This just
Rey Mysterio. Yeah.
So, by the way, quick little mention too about the Royal Rumble on January 19th.
Yeah.
Did you realize the influx of Mexican talent they had for that show? Do you remember that?
Yes, they had I think that's when they started bringing in Taka Michinoku, and they tried to launch their own version of a cruiserweight division, but I think that came later in the year. That was way before the Kaien's high days. And I was actually at that, I wasn't at the show, but the show that I was telling you, the Calgary Stampede, which took place in July, I know we're talking about January, but one of the matches on that card was great Sasaki and Did I say his name wrong? I know
It's
I said it. Sasuke, great Sasuke, and Taka Michinoku.
Do you have to go to your wife? Is it Sasuke?
She wouldn't know.
Mary, is it Sasuke?
She's busy right now, but yeah.
She would know, though. She would tell you exactly what it meant. It's a classic ninja. Anyways, yeah, so I wanted to mention this on the Royal Rumble. You had 3 dark matches, right?
I don't know. Okay. You tell me.
I'm telling you. They had Paraguayo and Venum versus Maniaco and Mosca La Merced. You had Blue Demon Jr., Octagon, and Tinieblas Jr. versus Abismo Negro, Heavy Metal, Hysteria, right? And then, this is the match we got to find, okay? Mascarita Sagrada Jr. and La Parquita versus Mini Mankind and Mini Vader.
Okay, this is when they were running the quote-unquote minis out there on a lot of shows in 97, 98.
Bro, Mini Vader.
You would see guys like Max Mini and all that stuff, and they were really pushing the mini content. Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's what went on since the 80s too with WWF, right?
Oh, I mean, Little People Wrestling has been. I
don't know why it got unpopular. I still think it's good. I mean, if you go to your bar on a Thursday night and it's just there, fuck it. I'll watch it.
Yeah. I mean, it's always been like a really good palate cleanser for something, like...
Just comedy
I think
matches,
that's what it was.
right?
Yeah, comedy. Well, I guess they used it as comedy matches or just something to break up 2 serious angles or just as something different.
Well, maybe Tony Khan will get on board. You think? Because he's doing... never mind. I'm not even going to say that. I don't want to get in trouble, bro. Okay, let's moving on to February, okay?
Yes.
In Philadelphia, we have Crossing the Line again at the old ECW Arena, which is, a tire-changing station now?
No, I think it's still the 2300 Arena. They still have stuff there.
It is just
GCW and stuff is there.
Yeah, it's just from the outside of the venue. You look at it. It legit looks like a tire changing spot with
it looks like it's in the middle of a bunch of chop shops or whatever.
Probably machine shops, chop shops, industrial area. Yeah,
it's like in Grand Theft Auto when you steal a car and you take it to get repainted or
you got to go to that neighborhood.
You go to that neighborhood.
Yeah, we got
East Philadelphia or whatever it is.
Yeah. Okay, so we had Louis Spicolli defeated Mike Awesome. Louis Spicolli, tell me about him.
Louis Spicolli, great wrestler, died very young, right? He might have been one of the first...
Oh, yeah, 27. Wow.
I mean, I think he might have been one of the first wrestler deaths that, of this time. I don't know when did he die? Like 2000, maybe?
Oh, man, 98, bro.
98, so he...
Wow.
He might have been one of the first that started that kind of chain of, oh my God, wrestlers are dying really young, and... that kind of thing. He might have been one of the first ones that started that reputation, maybe, like, when you think about it.
I mean, he was a drug addict, and he quit, and then his mom got cancer, and he got back on it. Oh, my God, that's terrible. Okay.
And of course, Mike Awesome, another guy that died pretty young, of course, but... He was also had a good run in Japan too in FMW. Correct me if I'm wrong, right?
Mm-hmm. It looks like
as Gladiator or something like that, right?
Yeah, I'm trying to find. Yeah. FMW 90 to 98. Yeah.
And if
Gladiator.
you see, if you can't go wrong in this era, one of the most underrated, rivalries of the 97 to 2000 is him against oh my God. Why is his name? I see his face and all that. Come on, the Japanese guy. Come on, you know it.
I know the Japanese guy, but in what years? The 2000s?
No, the late 90s. He had a bunch of matches with him, hitting him in the head with the chairs. Masato Tanaka.
Okay. Tanaka.
You watch any of those matches are nuts. Masato Tanaka, Mike Awesome might be one of the most underrated,
really awesome
programs.
Well, and Tanaka,
anyways,
Tanaka's still good, and he was obviously working back then, doing a very hardcore style for a Japanese guy.
Hitting the head skull with chairs, and Mike Awesome, one of the most athletic big men you will ever see. He was great. He was a great in-ring guy. Maybe he lacked a little bit of promos. When WCW got him later on, they really gave him horrible stuff to do, including At one point, he was the fat chick Thriller. I mean, come on.
Yeah, boy.
But
they
just
didn't give a fuck.
In ring and in his ECW run was just, that dude was awesome.
Wow.
Forgive the pun.
This show looks very good. We have Lance Storm defeats Balls Mahoney. Always a great classic match. You had
sure.
Steve Williams actually wrestling on the ECW show, beating Axel Rotten, but Steve Williams in '97. That's interesting. Obviously, he hadn't been beaten up yet by Billy Gunn. I thought that was a year before.
Bart Gunn.
Bart
Gunn. That came in '98 when they did Brawl for All. So he's still a little ways away
from losing his career.
And little did we know at this time, reflecting on everything, like when we were, you know, I was 16 years old in 1997 or 15, 16, and
and I was ECW, a kid, dude. I was like in middle school, and I knew ECW scared me at the time. I saw previews.
Exactly, it was the forbidden fruit. Should we be watching this? It's the Renegade Rebel promotion. But little did we know that, you know, WWF actually did have some involvement with them and was giving them money, was doing some kind of talent sharing and exchanges. They did run in '97. There were some times where ECW came on to Raw when they were having them like at the Manhattan Center and whatnot. And we all kind of really didn't think anything of it because we thought, oh my God, they're going to invade and there's just a little thing going on. But it was actually... you hear about it from all the knowledge in the podcast we listen to now and the dirt sheet stuff, but they were getting bankrolled a little bit from WWF at the time and loaned money to do this and that and the other thing. I mean, I could be exaggerating, or I could be a little off, but for the most part, there was some kind of working relationship with WWF and ECW at the time.
Yeah, okay. Very interesting, very interesting. I mean, you know, it's that Paul Heyman magic. Sure, he had connections everywhere. Very interesting booking. I mean, a crazy promotion. '97, it was already years old at the time, but developed a fast-paced reputation. We got Terry Funk on here against Tommy Rich. The Eliminators, Kronos and Saturn, against Rob Van Dam and Sabu, which I could only imagine sounds like a ridiculous 20-minute match. They went 20 minutes. So, and then the Pitbulls and Tommy Dreamer against Brian Lee, Candido, and the franchise Shane Douglas. Tell us about the Pitbulls.
The Pitbulls were a tag team that one of ECW's top early tag teams, and I think one of them ended up going to jail or something. There was a
dark side of the ring.
Dark side of the ring on Pitbull number 2 or whatever.
Pitbull number 2. It's like we have to call him Pitbull number 2 still, even though his name's Matthew Reed or whatever. You know.
Yeah,
like,
he got caught up with some like kind of mafia stuff or something. But anyway, I wasn't really like so in tune with ECW at the time. I knew the main guys and knew it was this thing I was interested in finding out more about it.
Like you'd see the clips,
Sabu,
right?
Rob Van
Would
Dam.
you see clips and shit? And then was that on TV? Like, or was that just on the web? I think it must have been on TV, right? They'd show clips like ECW only, like.
Yeah, I think me and my buddy it would come on Saturday nights at like 1 a.m. on
a dangerous time to be awake when you're young.
Yeah, or really just any time these days, especially if you're out. But
I'm always up at 1.
Yeah, well, you're fine though. Yeah, but you're a vampire.
I'm a vampire. But back in the day, I mean, shit, if I was watching Night Court, I started getting uncomfortable. Like, what am I? This is late. I'm scared.
So I think it was on some like I don't know if it was some random like local channel, like a UHF kind of thing, like. It wasn't on like a regular network where we would get it. It would be like on KD. It would be on some random I'll just say UHF. It was on.
Well, you're lucky you live in the second biggest media market because I mean, in Colorado we didn't quite get all those like weird off stations. We had UPN. Right. That's all. That was the weird one.
I mean, you still needed cable to get it, but it was some really random channel.
Yeah, channel fucking 14K whatever. You're just okay.
Like it also had public access on it or something like that. It was that kind of channel.
That
you
LA
would find
public
it.
access is real weird shit too. By the way, that's
Not as much as it used to be, but yes, there was some very
Lady
insane
Dancing with a
shows.
Skeleton and shit like that, man. What the?
I
fuck?
remember one in particular called Colin's Sleazy Friends that was on. Uh, I don't know if you were in LA and you were a '90s kid, you might remember that show. But anyways, so yeah, it was on some random channel. Like you had to really look for it. Like you had to like really go through the TV guide to find it. It wasn't like these days where you could just Google search where something is and find it, or just find a streaming service.
Let's take a pause here real quick. Let's talk about the TV at the time and the other shows too, because now we're talking about ECW TV, hard to find, late at night, and not really mentioned in the magazines except in the later pages. Right? I mean, and now we're gonna go to WWF USA Network.
Yes.
Every week, the same time.
Yes, it was 9 p.m. 9 p.m. basically.
2 hours. 2 hours back.
2 hours. It was on 9 to 11. You had WCW was also on at Monday night. It started at 8 p.m. and it ran to 11. I believe that they were a 3-hour show.
And what other shows did we have back then? I'm sure, did they do their like cyber or whatever, call in on the internet shit?
They had, I remember
back
Shotgun
then?
Saturday Night,
Shotgun
which was on
Saturday. Which is absolutely pointless shows.
You know what? For a while when I didn't have cable, Shotgun Saturday Night was my wrestling. When I was first starting to get back into it, when I was watching the 96, 97, it was all about Shotgun for me. And they would have
dude.
Because it was good because they would offer Raw recaps.
Okay.
So they would catch you up on Raw, and they
better
would give
than
you
Level Up, NXT Level Up,
and they would, well, whatever that is, and then they would give you some kind of exclusive matches.
Wait, have you seen NXT Level Up?
Is that really like the main event version of NXT?
That's like the new 205 Live. Yeah, but yes.
Oh no,
that's their new show, dude. Every Thursday, you start watching. Give it a watch. Do you want to watch Veer versus Jinder Mahal?
No.
Okay. Anyways, so go ahead.
So yeah, Shotgun was kind of I wouldn't even call it a secondary show, but it was like what WWF Superstars was when we were a kid, even though that was kind of the main show back then.
And there was no SmackDown in '97.
No. You had maybe a Live Wire kind of show, like recap kind of show at that time. Might have been taking place. And you probably had some foreign kind of shows that were done just for overseas
Spanish
and stuff
audience?
like that. Probably, yeah. They probably had stuff like that too. But,
dude, do you remember missing a pay-per-view and watching it on Monday Night Raw?
Right.
And like it was like
freeze frames.
They're like, you won't believe what happened last night when he kicked his head in, and you just see a picture.
Yes,
and they still do that shit today too.
They would tease you with the idea that you could still see it tomorrow night.
You're like,
even though you know what happened.
I really need to watch it though.
Yeah, so you still can shell out $50 for something that already happened. But yeah, and this is the thing too. Raw and Nitro were on at the same time, except for maybe you would. I remember I would watch the first hour of Nitro with my buddy, and then we would just go right to Raw, and then on the commercials we would see what was going on at WCW. This wasn't a time where you had what they called, we weren't even saying TiVo yet. There wasn't a DVR where you could record the other show.
TiVo back then. It wasn't for many years later, bro.
I think the closest thing that you could do is if you had a VCR in the other room, you could record one show and watch the other, and then maybe watch the other one after or the next day.
Yeah, if you were super hardcore. I don't know anyone that did that. Do you? I'm sure there were. That recorded wrestling. Like, dude, I mean, with tape trading back then, it's just we're not in the generation. There were people on the web in '97 trading tapes of All Japan, and so I don't think we were part of that culture necessarily.
No, I wasn't part of the tape trading culture. I wish I was, but I wasn't.
Me too, and I was online back then, but I didn't know about like wrestling, fucking trading message boards.
We were starting to be online, but I think the biggest thing we would do online is like, oh my god, I found this site that has all the wrestlers' real names.
Yeah, I would just go to video game AOL and look up info on new video games. So, anyways,
yeah, so there was that, and you really couldn't, you kind of had to pick one or the other for the most part in most situations, and that's what people did. I'm a WCW guy, I'm a WWF guy. You really didn't. There wasn't a lot of liking both. So
I did.
Okay.
But I guess I was one of the weird. I guess
baby.
I was one of the weirdos.
You were
But
one of the tiny little babies.
I did think
I'm just kidding.
WWF was much better though, way better.
Yeah,
but
it
I
seems
was like,
most of the people
whatever.
I know were like that too.
I started
But
getting
think-
picked on around that year for liking wrestling, and it kind of made me.
Yeah, but then in a year, everyone liked wrestling. 98, 99, everybody liked wrestling. It was so mainstream.
I think I'd been picked on enough by then, but And I'm sorry, by the way, I'm losing my voice, guys. I got sick like 2 weeks ago, and my body is still,
Affected?
Yeah.
I had a little
Riding the
allergies
bus
today, but I think it's actually added a little bass to my voice.
No, so it's probably for the better. There you
So
go.
maybe it's for the better.
Yeah, I was doing karaoke and shit the other night, and it's gonna take some time to build back. So okay, we had WCW sold out. We already talked about that. They did Cyber Slam. I mean, it's the ECW, and this is in February.
Yeah, that was a
Nothing
big
crazy.
run with Brian Pillman, right?
Let's see here. I don't know. I really want to watch Taz versus Little Guido, which looks real fun. So it was a 2-night thing. Sabu against Chris Candido. Big Stevie Cool? I don't know.
That's probably Stevie Richards.
Yeah. Axelrod and Taz versus, pretty normal shit. Right after that, they had, of course, the show you were talking about, In Your House 13, The Final Four.
But I will say this about ECW. One of the things that always stood out to me about ECW at that time that I always remember were the loud rings and the ring itself. When someone would hit the when someone would take a bump on that ring, for some reason it was so much louder than any of the other rings that you'd watch on TV.
Have you seen Bam Bam Bigelow versus Taz?
Yes.
Okay.
Where he put him through the entrance.
Well, he suplexes Bam Bam Bigelow off the entrance into the crowd, which would be totally not allowed today. But then he backpacks him into the ring and smashes through the ring into the floor, and then pins him afterwards after pounding him through the ring.
Listen, I mean, this era of ECW, 97, 98, is kind of what, kind of was a precursor to the match quality era. I'm not saying their matches were all great.
No, you're right. I was just thinking speedy, AEW.
The fast-paced kind of, feel that those matches had, and the hardcore kind of, not quite hardcore, but it kind of...
They had their bloody moments like AEW has.
I would say that it's kind of like maybe the grandparent or parent of the New Japan model and the PWG style matches.
Yeah, and I could see that. And also there's a lot of Japanese wrestlers that went to ECW, like you said, Masato Tanaka, but even a bigger influence are more of like the Toryumon style wrestlers who did that fast-paced tag team lucha influence style. And
yeah, a lot of lucha influence in some of the stuff that guys like Rob Van Dam. I know he's more of a martial artist style, but Sabu was kind of lucha style, right?
Yeah, and it's funny because we were doing a lot of talk about WWF back then, but man, there was that side influence from lucha and ECW that crept its way in, not in the next few years, but over time,
Right.
But definitely WWF, had their house style, which I guess is probably more intense back. Yeah, it's probably a little more intense back then. But so Bret Hart defeated Stone Cold Steve Austin, Vader, and The Undertaker.
Yes. In
February. The Four Corners elimination match. How the fuck does that even work? That sounds terrible. What is this?
Well.
What do you have to touch the four corners?
Oh. No, I just think it means there was somebody in every corner.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, and then
it's an elimination.
So,
okay.
yeah.
Oh, they just didn't call it Fatal 4-Way back in 97.
Yeah.
Huh. It was called Four Corners.
Well, because a Fatal
lame.
4-Way would just be first pinfall wins everything.
No, we do a 4-way elimination match. You don't need to call it Four Corners.
Well,
I don't think they call it Four Corners anyway. Yeah.
They were just trying to be cute with the marketing on it, probably.
Yeah, fuck those. Just call it a Fatal 4-Way. Each man dead. So it was a it was a 4-corner. It was a 4-person match for the vacant World Championship elimination match. Do you remember this match in your mind?
I remember it being pretty good. And I do know that I'm sure we'll talk about it in a minute, but yeah, Brett came out on top, and Stone Cold felt completely. This was the real start to Stone Cold. Just, I mean, people starting to really feel him, and
feel that
also,
Stone Cold madness,
and for Bret Hart to kind of start to really. Get the heel heat in, the United States.
Now, Justin, by then, at this point, was Bret Hart already on the way to becoming heel, or?
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
I think by this time, it seems like the seeds were being planted.
You think McMahon was already talking to him? And again, we watched the documentary, we talked about it.
Yeah, also keep in mind, around this time, this whole year, Wrestling with Shadows, which is a must-watch documentary.
Very good. Yes,
on,
Justin had me watch it, and it's great. You probably might not learn anything if you're a hardcore fan, but you will see a lot.
Yeah, it's one of the best, probably, wrestling documentaries that I've seen. He had a camera crew following him, Bret Hart, around this time. Hold on one second. You guys gotta be in bed right now. What's going on? Turn off the light and go to bed. A little parenting going on right now.
It's all right. We cut it all out unless it's really funny, and then I keep it in.
Anyways. So, yeah, this was a time where Bret Hart was being followed by camera crews, and it's even mentioned on some of the broadcasts that, there's a camera crew following Bret Hart around, which is kind of interesting. And you see a lot of the behind-the-scenes stuff. It was just a really interesting time. And, it might lead to... Yeah, you forget 97 also. A lot of stuff took place, which we'll get into. I think we'll probably only cover the first couple months today, since we're already 45 minutes in. But, yeah, this was a time where I think the conversations were taking place with Bret. Like, hey, man, I think it's time for you to be a heel.
Okay.
And he was probably reluctant at first. But arguably,
he was to the camera, unless he's lying. He said, he's like, that's not really who I am. I can't do that. And, very self-doubting. It's just like, people aren't going to respond to that well at all.
Arguably, it turned into be his best work of his career.
Yeah, but it didn't turn into the best post-career ever. I'll say that. Injuries accounted for.
That happened down the road. That wasn't 97 or.
No, I know, but
Goldberg kicked him into the second row. A couple years later.
I guess that's true. We had The Rock beating Triple H. Wow, what a push early! But also Triple H was not Triple H back then, right? So in fact,
Triple H was just starting to be Triple H. He was
starting. He was still listed as Hunter Hearst Helmsley, though. So if that says anything to you,
he was still Hunter Hearst Helmsley, but you had some really memorable angles coming up later in the year. But this is the beginning of his rise as well. And,
one of those, like, I don't know if I could say he got over in losing, but he was pushed later. And Rocky Maivia, The Rock. So he's not even The Rock at this point.
He doesn't really become The Rock for a little while. He's still Rocky Maivia, coming off the
when
failed...
championships meant something too. He's an IC champ, looking for a future title, right?
Yes. He was getting the IC run. He had it when he was still had the kind of the crazy hair and stuff. And I believe his debut was in Survivor Series '96, so he's still pretty fresh in there.
Yeah. So the worst match here looks like it's Crush Farouk and Savio Vega with JC Ice, Wolfie D, D'Lo Brown, and Clarence Mason against Bart Gunn, Flash Funk, and Goldust with Marlena.
Oof. Hold on. You know what? You're going to carry the show for just a minute. I need to go handle something. I'll be right back.
You're all good. I can't wait to hear this. Let's see how pissed he gets.
Go to bed. Yeah. Go to bed.
Kids stay up too late. Look, we all get it. Kids stay up way too late. I'm going to fake like I'm talking about all this shit. Watch.
Good night. I love you.
He's happy with the kids, but they do have to go to bed. I mean, it's fucking...
You're going to be not able to wake up tomorrow. I can't drive you tomorrow. I have to go to the office.
Yeah. Being a parent, sometimes you got to do this type of shit. So, and that is why I think that Mark Merrow versus Leif Cassidy. I don't really have a whole lot to say about it, but that was that month. Seems like ECW ran a lot of crazy shows. By the way, I was doing commentary on your parenting just now, just so you know.
Oh man, they need to be in bed right now. Leif Cassidy, you know that it was, right? You do, right?
That's a Leif Garrison.
Leif Garrison? No.
Leif Garrison is Leif Cassidy. Oh no, Leif Cassidy was the childhood singer.
Yeah, the pop idol from the 60s.
No, that's not him, bro. That's not who wrestled.
Well, the person that we're talking... No, it was not him wrestling. I'm asking you if you know who that was, because I do.
Yes, the pop idol.
It wasn't a pop idol.
It was Leif Garrison, wasn't it?
It was Mr. Garrison from South Park.
When I first looked up that name, Leif Cassidy, I was very confused by that, so I don't know.
It was Al Snow. There you go.
Yeah, it was Al. Why? I guess he's just weird that way, huh?
They tried to make him one of the new rockers for a minute.
Oh,
yeah.
Great.
See, you still, when you watch in '97, especially the beginning, you still see the sprinkles of that era of, the gimmick era.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I could totally see that. We had another show in February at the end of the month from WCW. This was called Super Brawl 7. And Dusty Rhodes was one of the commentators with Tony Schiavone. Seems like Mike Tenay was on the show. And, Michael Buffer got paid $1 million. Yeah. So,
just saying, let's get ready to rumble.
I mean, some of the matches seem okay. Ultimo Dragon versus Pat Tanaka. I think Pat Tanaka's using meth in Colorado Springs. I met him at a homeless shelter once.
Wait, what?
Oh yeah, I was in. I was in this rehab homeless shelter program, and like one of the dudes was like, "Hey, I know Pat Tanaka." And I was like, cool. And then Pat Tanaka came over and signed a belt and signed a thing. And then Pat Tanaka's friend went to jail a month later for molesting somebody. And that's all I'm going to say about that. So Pat Tanaka is having some tough times.
Pat Tanaka and bad company.
Some girl told me he was addicted to meth. So Six defeated Dean Malenko. That's could be an okay match.
Yeah, probably.
Now this match, Eddie Guerrero defeated Chris Jericho. That sounds pretty good, huh?
Go. Yes, definitely.
Yeah. And then as a lot of Jeff Jarrett back then, he was still he seems to sneak his way into every promotion he's part of, doesn't he?
He does, and he's had kind of moments in all of them. 97, he was he in WCW?
Yeah.
Because he had an IC title run probably around, late 97, 98.
Did he really?
I think so. I remember.
But he ended with WCW too. He was there when everything went to shit. So
yeah.
And then obviously TNA and being one of their pushed guys and just
his dad basically founded the company. That's why.
Okay. Lex Luger and Paul White defeated Kevin Nash and Scott Hall. So, get a little vengeance. They killed the Outsiders, and Lex Luger was voted the Wrestler of the Year that year. So, let that sink in.
What? He was? By who?
The Wrestling Observer.
Really?
Let me look this up again, because I think we talked about this last
I had a feeling they would give it to, if I had to guess, it would have been someone like
Misawa or the fucking
Misawa, yeah,
or Stone Cold Steve Austin, maybe. Let me double check.
Yeah,
this,
I mean, no, that was probably like the rivalry of the year
Okay.
or whatever. But
Category A award: Luthez Wrestler of the Year, Misawa.
Luthez, the Luthez Wrestler of the year.
Yeah,
Wasn't Luthez.
Misawa. Okay,
Wasn't
so I probably
Leaf
got
Garrett,
this.
Leaf Garrity? It wasn't
It's
him.
not Leaf Garrison. Most outstanding wrestler, Misawa. Okay, so never mind.
It was
we were
Misawa,
talking
got
about
it,
another.
okay.
So it's just Misawa over and over again. So
Right.
we're
Yeah. So that was
talking about a whole different thing here. But I'm pretty okay. When what? Now I want to know when fucking the dude was the wrestler of the year. But I'll look it up another time.
It
Anyway.
was probably like 95 or 96 or whatever. Maybe that year he went over to Nitro, or I don't know.
Yeah.
It couldn't have been any time in this era.
No. And
It
which,
wasn't the Lex Express or anything either.
Oh
so.
God, and that means we'll just definitely have to be talking a lot more Misawa over the next couple weeks, or next couple shows when we study this more, because I know we'd love to watch that stuff. So that's just 2 months, January and February. It looks like as we go off February, and we'll talk about this soon, we have WrestleMania, which sounds like a terrible main event. We have Spring Stampede in WCW. We have In Your House, Revenge of the Taker, and getting into other things like A Cold Day in Hell, and some All Japan stuff in the next months after.
A lot of good stuff, let's be honest. And, we'll probably pick up with March. We went through February, and we'll take it from there. And
we'll
that
go to
is
March.
Really when it gets going, to be honest.
When shit starts heating up, and then we're gonna... Looks like we're gonna have all sorts of All Japan, New Japan stuff to talk about in that year as well. So it was a hot year, not just for America, but a lot of shit happened across the world, and it's exciting to talk about WrestleMania at the Rosemont Horizon. I mean, right? Very exciting.
Definitely.
What is it now? The Rosemont Horizon? Did they destroy it or what?
No.
Rubble?
It's still there. They just ran something there, I think. It's whatever sponsor.
Okay.
Let me see.
Chicago's got a lot. Oh, it's the All-State Arena.
There you
All-State
go.
Arena.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
And I guess we can parlay that into a little current event if you want.
Which is the New Japan show?
Yeah, the New Japan AEW Forbidden Door.
And I really want to talk about this after a short break, and so we will get back to that in 1 minute. All right, thank you guys for tuning back in after our short 1 second music-laden break. I was recently talking about the All-State Arena, and Justin told me that was a segue because he thinks the All-State Arena is the United Center.
No, I don't. I was just saying that the other venue in Illinois, in Chicago area, is what
there's
will
the
be
Now
hosting.
the Now Arena. There's 4, dude. There's the Now Arena, and there's the
United Center
Wintrust
is where
Center.
The United Center is where the Bulls and the Blackhawks play.
Their
so
biggest
it's their
arena.
big arena.
Yeah. And
so
where they had the
20,000 people.
debut of CM Punk there.
It was either there or Rosemont.
No, it was the United Center.
It was the United Center.
Yeah. So it's a huge announcement. Why don't you run over the announcement, what happened, and all that stuff for us, Justin?
Well, it was actually first kind of broken with the Super J Cast, where they basically, it was something we've been talking about for a long time in our fantasy minds, was a super show between New Japan and AEW, and that was confirmed this past Wednesday night on Dynamite by Adam Cole.
How long ago did the J-Cast mention it? I know those guys usually have probably some of the first information on New Japan stuff.
They announced it the week before.
Did they do it in a funny manner that involved pastrami?
Oh, of course, yeah.
Okay, so, well, obviously they were right. Who do you think is their source? Do you think it's Kevin Kelly or Rocky Romero?
I would say
think it's Kevin Kelly is my guess.
I think Kevin Kelly. Yeah, but I could be wrong. But I don't know. Who cares? They have whoever it is. It's viable.
He's accurate for big shows, like most of the shit they. So, anyways, Kevin Kelly, hit us up. But yeah, so huge news. They come out and do a thing. Did you notice how fucking tall Obari is?
Or how short Tony Khan is? I don't know.
A little bit of both, right?
Yeah.
But check this out. You heard what Obari did yesterday?
No.
Oh shit! So Okan, remember what he did? Saved a little girl.
Child? Yeah.
Today, Obari
Saved an old lady?
saved a child from getting run over by a subway train
In United States?
in Tokyo. He was
Wow.
headed back home, and he said some girl fell into the tracks, and he jumped down and pulled her out. And he said he used to be a volleyball player, and that's why he's so tall. And he said his height has never helped him until now to this extent. So, anyways, cool little heartfelt story there. I
Very
mean,
cool,
New
yeah.
Japan is killing it on the moral side of things. Johnny Depp needs to take a look at that. Yeah. So, anyways, yeah, the big show's coming up. What do you got? What are you fantasy booking for it? Let's hear it.
I have a few off the top of my head that I was thinking about. I want to see. I mean, I know I'm not alone in this, but Okada, Bryan Danielson.
Yeah, that's a
These are-
dream match ultimate scenario Tokyo
or
Dome headliner.
What I think might be more realistic would be maybe if we got to have Okada for this. I'd hope. If not, it's going to come down the line.
Dude,
This is
well,
not
no,
the first.
Okada's gonna be there, and I hope he's in a singles match. I really don't
Yeah,
want him to do it the
no.
Noah style, and I
They're
don't
not-
think that they're going to.
You're gonna have some mixed You're gonna have some tags at the beginning. You know, I will mention one that I want. Okay? You want to hear what my opening match is?
Dark Order versus Chaos.
No, it's a one-on-one match between Ren Narita and Hook.
Oh, well, that'd be too much.
What do you mean
Because-
too much?
Cause Hook's not allowed to get beat up, dude.
Come on, that could be a really good match.
It'd probably be awesome, but they're not gonna
Yeah.
let Hook get punched. Like they don't even
Okay.
like him taking a fucking. And you'd want Red Narita to fuck him up.
Hey,
so,
I didn't say.
mean-
I'm not talking about like.
No, it's a great
Yeah.
idea.
I don't think
just know
anyone's
how they
thinking
are.
of that one, but that would be fun.
I hope they. I don't know. Like I'm thinking tag shit, like Dangerous Techers versus like who, like everyone. There's so
FTR.
many
Ooh, that'd be
FTR
awesome.
or Dangerous Techers versus the Young Bucks. Oh
So
my
what if we just
God,
match
dude.
the champions versus the champions?
Okay.
So let's say CM Punk wins
Yeah.
the title,
there's always
which is
a
very
possibility.
possible.
Yep.
CM Punk Okada, I ain't mad
Oh
at that.
my God.
At the United Center, that would sell out.
Yeah.
Chicago. You'd have
That seems
Khan.
crazy.
You'd have Okan and Cobb against the Jurassic Express. That could be a fun
That'd be
match.
awesome. You'd have so who would it be? It'd
Sammy
be
Guevara's the TNT title.
Sammy
so-
Guevara versus the never openweight title. So evil.
which is evil.
I don't want to see that, bro.
Hey, you know what would be a great match too?
Evil versus fucking
Orange
what's-
Cassidy against Hiromu Takahashi.
Oh, of course. No, I was
That
thinking.
would be crazy. Or El
Yeah.
Desperado versus Orange Cassidy would be good too.
I was thinking Evil versus the little evil dude. What's his name? With the little demon guy.
Danhausen.
Danhausen. Yeah, Evil versus Danhausen. Don't you think
could
that would
fun.
be?
That could be fun.
So obviously, it's kind of hard to even talk about it because you got a million different matches that pop off in your head, right?
Yeah,
And
you're
just
gonna
like-
have a couple, 6-man tags in there. We'll probably you might get a Tomohiro Ishii, Eddie Kingston would be good.
Oh well, no, isn't that the match in DC or what's?
Oh, maybe they challenged him for that. Tanahashi.
Yeah, that's going on in Washington.
We might get to, and that's Tanahashi Moxley there too.
Tanahashi. Yeah. It's like, dude, just give Jay. I just wish they would give like all the Naito a singles match. Everyone. It's like Adam Cole versus Naito, Tanahashi versus.
And I'm gonna assume that Kenny's not gonna be back by then. I just don't see that.
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think it'll be back. Dude, I it's funny. I listened to the Stone Cold podcast years and years ago, and they had Adam Cole on it before he was in NXT. This was
Right.
ROH, and I remember them Stone Cold asking like, who do you want to work with? Who's the best wrestler in the world? And he was like, I got to work with Tanahashi, and he never really got that chance. He went to NXT right after the interview. So interesting
you-
idea.
Who would you want Naito to work?
Oh my god, man. Fucking A. Andrade, dude, would be awesome. I mean, you get
Yeah.
you get that whole little group. I mean, fucking, I wouldn't mind
I even wouldn't even mind CM Punk working him either.
CM Punk. I mean,
That could be a really interesting match.
I wouldn't mind one of the juniors facing him, like fucking Darby Allin. I mean, there's some good stuff
what about
there.
Darby Allin and Hiromu?
Oh, that would be fucking crazy.
I kind of think, or Desperado and Darby Allin.
That's
Wow.
like the Darby Allin Hiromu though is one of those matches you don't book because of injuries. Like you just let him go like
Somebody's
once every
gonna die.
4 years. Yeah, I mean, they
Well, you
both
know what?
don't give
Darby's a
fuck.
little more indestructible than Hiromu is, to be honest with you.
Yeah, that's true, but he would use that to his advantage and just do even more crazy shit. So,
That could
no,
be a
I
lot
don't
of
know,
fun.
man. It's a great. I posted something on Twitter that got quite a lot of likes. That all I said was thank you to Tony Khan for kind of sticking with New Japan because he didn't have to, and New Japan didn't have to stick with him. I think they both.
I think he was going to, because he is a fan
He's
first.
he's
it
been
seems
a
like.
fan, yeah. He's
And
always
he was at those shows in Long Beach when I
Yep.
went to,
Yep.
and he was wearing a Bullet Club shirt, so he was going to make this happen no matter what.
It's really cool, and it's really cool that New Japan at the same time is so progressive that they're like, okay, yeah, let's do this. Although they're getting real good rights. They got Dynamite on
Yeah.
on
Well,
New
this
Japan
is
World. Very good
what-
rights, very good sharing, and very good relationship.
what this is for New Japan is this is their like way to regain that Western audience that they got from 15 to 19. Right? This is
Yeah.
their chance to kind of get it back.
Yeah,
I think it benefits both of them for sure.
it's definitely like another super card in Madison Square Garden, except much bigger show than that. You know.
I mean, it seems to seem like it.
Yeah.
We'll see how it comes together.
So, what T-shirt would you wear if you were going to the show? That's the good question. That's a confusing one. Many wrestling fans have to do mathematical formulas to figure that out.
I don't know.
I'd probably just wear my Asuka shirt
I might have to make a special one
with your art on it.
with my art on it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, like one side is Tanahashi and the other side is fucking Serpentico.
You know what? That's not no. There might be. I might have to make a very special edition design for that show.
Yeah.
That would be fun. I could work on something like that.
By the way, have you drawn Serpentico?
No,
How about Ninja Mac?
I have not drawn Ninja Mac. Not against the idea. but I
RJ
haven't.
City?
No,
A lot of guys out there, huh? Tony Khan?
I have not drawn Tony Khan.
Dude, you got a whole roster of people waiting on you, huh?
Yeah, I know, but
Takes
I'll
time.
get there. Yeah, I gotta do one every day, and I've repeated a bunch.
Maki
but
Ito?
no,
Really? I thought you sent me one.
no.
Oh, shit. Okay. Well, yeah, the big shit.
Can I say something that no one's talking about with this?
Uh-oh. Go.
How would you feel if you are a female on the roster, a woman on the roster of AEW with this show?
Well, it'd probably be pretty frustrating, but also it's New Japan, so
Why can't they have a Stardom involved in this?
I don't know. I don't know.
You
That's
wanna
for Tony Khan to figure out. I
you
would
don't
love
wanna
to see that.
See Jade Cargill and Starlight Kid or something like that?
That'd be awesome, but that's not. Tony Khan doesn't really have a relationship with Stardom, and believe it or not, that's a different company, even though they're owned. You know
Same
how
here.
companies that are owned by like other companies, like they still have their independence. You know.
Right.
So-
I mean, I would say that's the only downside to this.
I thought about
they're-
that too, but I didn't. I didn't think of it as a downside. I just thought, oh well, there'll be no women's matches on this show, and that's how it is, and whatever. I mean, it happens. Rarely though, rarely anymore.
Well,
except for New
PWG doesn't necessarily do women's matches either, so there you go.
Yeah, New Japan. Yeah, it's just a lot of those Japanese. Is there a kid crying in the background now? I'm
No.
hearing shit. I swear.
inner
It must have been
child.
on TV, huh? Your inner child?
No.
Yeah, I thought so. Yeah, but yeah, that is disappointing. But there's barely a relationship with Stardom. I don't think there's anything. They have a TJP hookup. You know what I'm saying, for their Joshi girls. Did you see the clip that went around that said this was women's wrestling in AEW?
No.
Okay, I gotta show
What
you
I
this
miss?
one. Well, it's just like you watch it and you're like, wow, AEW was real stupid at times. You know, they just start like showing dumb shit from AEW, like older shit. Because now that it's old, like you'll always be able to point at something and be like, that sucks. You know.
Yeah, AEW started before the pandemic. Can you believe it? So long.
Well, they
time
said,
ago.
I remember when they were like, and I don't know if this has changed, but they were like, AEW has had 98% of its, excuse me, more than half of its shows in the, like,
Pandemic era.
pandemic era.
I would say more. Yeah. Wait, you said 80%? Yeah.
No,
that makes sense.
back then it was more than 50. It was like, hey, more than half are in the
Right.
in there. No, but they had their place, like the whatever center.
Yeah, the Daly's place.
Daly's place, yeah. All right, so check that link, and obviously do it on your PC. Don't sign up for Reddit, whatever it
Oh,
asks.
you texted it to me?
Yeah, or yeah, just check on your phone. But like, if it asks you like, go to the website or go to this, just click go to the website, and tell me when it's playing.
All right,
Is it-
some
is it
fighting with
going?
crutches. What's her name dancing?
They were saying this is AEW Women's Division in action. I mean,
A
little bit crazy, huh?
taken out of context a little bit, but yeah. That was like one time.
Yeah, I guess
But,
that's true.
In that poster's defense, I think what they were trying to say and what, it did take them a little while to really figure out what they had on the women's side, right?
Well, it's still taking them time too. They're hiring new people and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
I guess there's not as big of a pool right now in America.
It feels like they started with scratch. They didn't really have.
Yeah, Britt
didn't-
Baker and Kylie Ray.
Yeah,
And
Britt
Nyla.
Baker wasn't really the main person. I think Riho was what they thought was going to be their main star, right? And Britt Baker.
Kylie Ray, dude.
Well, Kylie Ray too, but she ended up leaving and had her issues as well. But
Yeah.
I really think that they came in with the elite, right? And we knew what was going to happen with that, but they kind of had to. They didn't have they didn't steal anyone from that. No one from WWE came over. They didn't have like a Bailey or a Sasha or whatever come over
No,
that
not
they could
at
build
all.
around. They had no one to build around.
They've had to organically grow for sure. All their
Yeah, so
people.
there was a lot of trial and error, and they made a lot of bad decisions, and for a while it didn't look like they knew what they were doing with that division.
At least they got Jade Cargill. I mean, I will say she.
Yeah.
No matter if she's like, unless she's like the absolute terrible wrestler, like everyone's gonna think she's a badass.
She's got WWE written all over her, I think, though.
No, but she said no to WWE. She quit
Yeah.
WWE, bro.
She
Like,
quit, or I thought that was somebody else, but okay, yeah.
no, she had an interview with them and they offered her contract. She said no because she pretty much told them like, I make a shitload of money already and I don't need to put my life.
But
in
I
all
think
this
also,
shit.
I think she has like a kid and stuff, and she found out how much she was going to be away from her family.
Oh, dude, I remember that. Yeah, Triple
Yeah.
H said to her, "Do you have to care about WWE as much as you care about your kid?"
Something like
and she's
that.
like, "Fuck this."
Well, anyway,
Yeah,
she's a big star. Obviously, but Britt Baker is. I think, building up Hikaru Shida again could work too. I think she had
Yeah.
a pretty underrated run.
I'm
what
like
she
one
did.
of the only people who seems to like Nyla Rose. I always thought she was pretty good in her position, but a lot of people.
Thunder Rosa is really good too.
Thunder Rosa, yep, Thunder Rosa.
I heard this talked about on another podcast where they said Nyla Rose is kind of at the point now where she's like a, once you get the title, you got to go through her.
Well, yeah, she can always
she's
put up
the
a challenge
roadblock.
and stuff, and
Yeah.
maybe that's as much as she wants to work. By the way, I just saw this announced: Speedball Mike Bailey versus Konosuke Takeshita for West Coast Pro Wrestling. Takeshita will be on AEW soon. Big DDT top talent from DDT coming to America. So
Didn't AEW quietly announce a little while ago that they were entering a partnership with
DDT,
DDT?
yeah, in AEW, and then they just announced Takeshita, and some of these Japanese guys, they absolutely love working in America. Takeshita had his posted Twitter, pinned Twitter thing for like the last 2 years, like, I'm going back to AEW.
Wow.
So, do you know him at all?
No, I've heard of him.
Okay. Well, South San Francisco, the State Room on Friday, June 10th. If anyone wants to see Takeshita versus Speedball Mike Bailey, who's making waves back in America now that he got that Canadian thing you were telling me about lifting and all that shit. So
yeah, he's able to work in America, and he's hitting it pretty big. I think he signed with Impact.
Did he? Okay.
Yeah.
It's like you want to see that guy somewhere. I still haven't watched a single one of his matches, man.
He's awesome.
Is like, oh, he's so good. So,
yes.
Did we talk about Moxley and Ospreay on this show? I don't think we got to.
I think we did, because we talked about how bad the quality of the show was and everything.
Okay.
We did cover that. And by the way, hopefully this Forbidden Door will not use Fight TV as their production.
Yeah.
Because that would not be good. But I think...
No, I think they're going to use AEW shit, dude.
Or they're going to go with the more traditional pay-per-view system rather than... Fight TV will probably be like the international way to get the show. So
I just think they're going to keep doing that shit if it's New Japan. I don't think they give a fuck, to be honest. I don't think they even care.
They probably have a contract.
I know, but if their shit just sucks online...
Yeah, but they can't be giving people refunds every time they have a show. They're not even that stupid.
I sure hope not. You know what I mean? I really...
Because if you ordered that for $20 and you're just giving refunds, it's ridiculous. Nobody gets money.
Well, did you get a refund from the show? Because who got refunds? I don't know anyone that got refunds.
People that ordered them. Yeah, I know a few that ordered it that I've seen online, and they got their refunds.
Jesus, man, that must suck, huh? Put out your show and it's a piece of shit, and then for the company.
Yeah, of course. But I mean, it's not like they had one bad show,
Hey, by the way, when you go on to when you go onto YouTube, what are your recommended videos?
You want to know?
Yeah, let's see what you're watching, bro. And we'll trade them real quick. Ezekiel passes lie detector test with flying colors. Raw, April 18th, 2022.
So I have home plate umpire John McSherry dies during Reds.
Whoa!
I have Jim Cornette on Jesse Ventura conspiracy theories.
What were you watching? Crazy baseball violence recently?
Probably not. I don't.
Maybe. Yeah.
I got a Chris Broad video. I stayed at Japan Traditional Inn. Oh,
that's cool.
I have somebody reacting to watching Trailer Park Boys, which is a great show.
Have you watched reaction videos of Trailer Park Boys content?
No.
Just a lot of Trailer Park Boys content.
Here I have a evolution of Stone Cold in video games.
Okay, I've got Stone Cold on how a wrestler knows his opponent is injured for real. So we both have a Steve Austin clip on our... Yeah. Okay, not too bad. That's pretty normal shit, right?
Yeah, I think so.
I've got Luxurious Sashimi Giant Bluefin Tuna Cutting Show, where all the Japanese dudes cut the sushi. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I do. I have Rob Van Dam on a shoot video.
You still watch the shoot videos? I mean...
I don't know. Occasionally those interviews.
Did you ever watch the Tammy Sitch shoot video and then realize that, like, it's all fucking nonsense?
I have hockey highlights from the April 23rd games.
Are the Avalanche still the best team in the last 10 years?
They're pretty damn good. Best team I've seen this year.
Who do they go against next?
They will probably, in the playoffs, go against probably Let me check. Probably maybe Nashville or Minnesota.
Minnesota's kind of tough, huh?
Yeah, they are, but they're one of the wild cards.
Oh.
Oh, let me actually check, because if the Vegas lost today, the Kings clinched a playoff spot. So.
Really? Oh, it's that close, huh?
Oh, okay. The Vegas won.
Oh.
Big Sharks. It's okay. The Kings are in really good shape. They just have to win one of their next 2 games, or the Knights have to lose one of their next 3 games, and the Kings are in. Their magic number is 1, meaning one loss by Vegas or 1 win by the Kings clinches the Kings.
So the only thing would be if the Vegas won 3 in a row and
Vegas would have to win
lost all 2.
Yeah,
that'd be terrible.
Yeah.
So
strange things have happened, but yeah.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying. Okay.
So if the playoffs started today, Dallas would play Colorado.
Oh, we fuck up Colorado, or we fuck up Dallas, bro. I'm from Colorado, so okay. Just making sure real quick. Had to double check on that one. You watched Rampage this week, by the way?
I did. I watched it this morning, actually.
Watched it this morning.
Yeah.
What a great morning show to watch too. You can kind of just chill to it.
Yeah, it was good. It was a good show.
What'd you think about Ishii versus Adam Cole, baby?
That was a good match, man.
Fuck,
I thought it was
yeah.
a really good matchup, because a lot of times I think, Adam Cole is, I asked my friend, like, hey, what do you think of Adam Cole? I mean, just wondering, guy, Laps fan, what do you think? He's like, oh, I think he's a good wrestler, that kind of thing. And I said, I love Adam Cole. I love his promos. I love what he is in the ring, but sometimes I just can't get over, not necessarily his size, but his build, you know what I mean? But, him and Ishii, like, it didn't matter,
Well, to me, it was almost like a junior match, bro, because Ishii is not big, okay?
No, he's like 5'6", 5'7".
Yeah. So
and Adam Cole's probably about 5'7", 5'8", tops.
The only reason Ishii gets away beating on huge dudes is because he's such a good wrestler. Like, he convinces you he's like 7 foot tall and fucking 1,000 pounds.
His body is like he's
a totem pole, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he's a fire hydrant, and but at the same time, like, it's a great match with Adam Cole because Adam Cole looks a little bit more athletic with the agility and it's hard to say though against Ishii.
It was a good combination of styles.
Very good combination. Super kick offense versus the violent, obviously, lariat.
Yeah.
Amazing superplex from Ishii. One of the best in a lot. He did his jumping. You know how he jumps as the superplex is going? He jumps off. But he also did it right into the other corner. Like, he didn't do it into the center of the ring. I don't know why. I just found that fucking incredible.
Adam Cole's a little lighter. But, it was awesome. And the Jay White involvement was probably what they needed as well.
So I didn't like that at all.
Yeah, I mean, it was acceptable at that point if you're going to build up their kind of alliance. But to me, I wonder if there's like people that are AEW fans, they still have no idea who Jay White is or what he's about.
Yeah, I guess that's true. Yeah.
So they're like, who is this guy? Like, he hasn't really...
He's been on TV like 2 or 3 times.
He had a Dynamite match and stuff like that, or Rampage. But I still think they're not doing it. They haven't really laid out exactly who he is.
No, I totally agree with you. Did you watch TBS champion Jade Cargill versus
Maria Shafir? Marina, I think.
Okay, Malia Shafir.
That's, the spouse of Roderick Strong. Yeah, she's good. It was a good match. Really good match.
I didn't watch it. I'm not gonna watch it. I don't know.
Yeah, it was good.
But and when is Shayna Chrysler coming in with her other partner?
I don't know what
was her that it was Marina Shafir and
Jasmine Dukes.
Jessamine.
Yeah, they were all buddies with Ronda Rousey, right?
I guess so, man.
They lived in a house in Venice together or something.
I try to stay away from the 4 horsewomen of UFC as much as possible.
Right. Well,
Eddie Kingston versus Daniel Garcia, I thought was
really good.
Really good, yeah. It wasn't quite as good as the first match, but it was like way good. And yeah, both dudes. Daniel Garcia still learning. Eddie Kingston just somehow it hasn't been found or used, even though he's fucking incredible. Like, what a lucky dude.
Kingston. I would love to see him in the G1.
Oh, I would love that. I would love that.
I don't know if it'll happen, but I guarantee you, if anyone's back there clamoring about being in it, it's him.
Oh, yeah. I mean, hey, man, it's New Japan's duty to get those crowds yelling again. I mean, I hate to say it, but at this point, we've been talking about it for years. Anyways, great match. Eddie Kingston just living his dream. He reminds me of like a comedian who's just been struggling his whole life. You know what I'm saying?
Like a Rodney Dangerfield.
Exactly. And then dude's like hitting 40, and then all of a sudden, like everyone's like, star. Yes, he's awesome, he's amazing. We never realized it. So, shout outs to Tony Khan for giving him that push. But yeah, great match. Danny Garcia again getting trained by old Chris Jericho there. I'm very interested to see how that turns out over the years.
Yeah, definitely. And wouldn't be surprised if Jericho's last match is against Danny Garcia or whatever. So it's kind of,
that would be fitting.
That's who he's grooming for that.
Would be fitting. Now, I guess we just got to see the last of the. You have the temples of the 4 pillars of AEW, and then there's like
who do we put MJF against in this Super Show?
Oh, fuck.
Or does he want no part of it, and that's his character stance?
I don't even know where to
Toru
think about that.
And MJF.
I don't know where to think about that, dude. MJF probably needs to just go to WWE at this point and make a massive contract. I don't know.
I think he's champion by the end of the year.
Yeah, I don't know. He almost...
Punk will beat Page, and then he'll beat Punk at Double or Nothing or something.
Yeah, it's gonna sound fucked up, but I think he's probably like too big for AEW.
He's ready though. They need to get him going.
Yeah, for sure. And by the way, I mean, I don't even know if he's like too ready for WWE. Like, dude could end up being like movie star or something. I don't know, honestly.
Well,
he's like some next level talent.
He's definitely he'd have to turn himself down a little bit to be in WWE.
Think so?
Yeah.
You don't think Vince would love the cockiness?
He would love it, but he wouldn't be able to say... He wouldn't be able to do everything he does. But,
No, they're letting Cody... They're letting Cody do his shtick, bro. Pretty much the exact same thing.
I'm talking about he call the women in the crowd a bunch of rats.
And start talking about, like, how he's Jewish and then make, like, some fucking World War II joke.
Yeah, or whatever. But I don't think MJF really cares. He just wants to get paid.
Yeah, and maybe that's just the character. Who knows? He's a very confused guy. He's very private, so we don't really know much about him except that if he went against someone in New Japan, obviously, I don't even know. I'm just trying to think who could actually beat him, and I don't know if there's anyone in the company except maybe Okada that would be allowed to beat him. So
that would probably be a really good match, though.
Yeah. Put him in a tag match. Have him pin Bushi or some shit like that. There you go. I mean, I don't know, bro. That's a real confusing.
Yeah,
confusing
I mean,
scenario.
I'm sure this will all develop in the months. It's June, so there's a lot of time to build to this.
Yeah, because MJF is not like Adam Cole. He's not like Red Dragon. He's not like out there to have wrestled the best dudes in the world and do all the best matches and wrestle this guy and this guy,
Yeah, that's part of his gimmick. Is he's not there to do this stuff. He's there to make money and win championships or whatever. So.
Again, we'll see if the gimmick holds true or if that's just what he says or whatever, man. So, what are you up to tomorrow? A lot.
It's my first full day back in the office.
Okay.
So
every day this week.
Until the end of time.
And are they gonna have sarcastic reminders like "We bet you miss your kids" at the office?
I hope not.
Now, do you go to the break room when you eat and sit with everyone else and talk?
I haven't since I've been relocated to this new department. I haven't. No.
I like to just go to my car.
There's a cafeteria downstairs.
Yeah.
But I do know people there that, when I was going once a week, they would go to their car and take a nap.
For real?
Yeah.
Why isn't there a nap room in the building then?
nobody has nap rooms. It's not a preschool.
No,
It's an
my
awesome idea though.
my last job had a nap room. There was 3 beds in there and a couch.
What was it? Would you work at a hospital?
No, I worked at a machine shop, bro.
Oh.
They had a nap room and a PlayStation with the couch.
That's pretty awesome.
But no one ever dared to use it because they were afraid they'd get fired for napping on the job. So,
Then why the hell do they have it?
great question.
Trap people?
Hey, they got rid of me, so I think that company sucks anyways. But
Okay.
wrestling in 1997, we're going to talk more about that soon.
Yes.
We are going to talk about March and April. We have New Japan show that we didn't talk about at all, and that has already been on. Right? The Taichi versus Shingo 35 count match.
Oh, that already happened?
Did it? I thought it did, man.
Oh, I was watching one of those Road 2 shows today. It was on the 20th. I just had it on the background.
Okay, hang on. No. April's. Okay, it's tonight. Tonight. This morning.
Oh, cool. Okay.
So we will report on that later. We'll see who gets the 30 count on that terrible fucking gimmick match. And then May
It'll be
1st,
fine.
May
It'll be
1st is Wrestling Dontaku. May 3rd is your host's birthday. And May 7th, I'm
Yeah?
having a big ass party here. And if y'all want to come
What?
over, let me know. Yeah, dude. It's probably the last birthday I'll have in my whole life, but whatever.
Oh, that's not... You're not going to die.
No, my last birthday party. Sorry,
Oh,
bro.
okay.
I said that. I said that the wrong way, totally. Yeah, like yeah, dude.
Hey,
I'm going out with a bang, brother. So thank you all for listening. We appreciate you. This
We
is
do.
Wrestling and we will talk to you guys later.
See ya.